Bitcoin futures are off and running. Chicago-based derivatives exchange CBOE Global Markets launched the futures late Sunday. Futures surged as much as 26% in their debut session. Now, trading was so intense, demand was so high that it triggered two temporary trading holds, which are designed to calm the markets. The larger CME group will start trading Bitcoin futures in the next few days, and Nasdaq will reportedly begin trading Bitcoin futures in early 2018. All right, let's now bring in Chris Kline. He is the COO at Bitcoin IRA, and he joins us live from Los Angeles tonight. Chris, the Bitcoin futures contracts, is that a huge step in now legitimizing Bitcoin?
Absolutely. It's good to see you again, by the way, Michelle. Bitcoin futures are a pivotal point to this process because they bring more regulation, which is going to bring more mainstream adoption. And now it's important to point out, though, that when you're in a futures contract, you're not necessarily in Bitcoin directly. You're more in a proxy representation. So this is going to be more of a play of shorting and longing components of the volatility ahead.
But as you say, it does bring Bitcoin more and more into the mainstream. Now, you're the CEO of Bitcoin IRA. What is a Bitcoin IRA?
Well, it's the first of its kind, and it's the ability for clients to take and put digital currencies, not just Bitcoin, but Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, and others, into a retirement setting in a self-directed space. So instead of a proxy certificate like futures and a traditional paper-derived IRA out there, you have direct investments into the real thing, held in segregated secure wallets by a Kingdom Trust company, our custodian, and inside of BitGo wallets, which we all think are the best-of-breed wallets out there with multi-sig configurations.
Chris, I think it's safe to say that Bitcoin is in the mania phase now. You have some people even borrowing money to get in on the action, taking loans against their mortgages. We're seeing huge leaps in valuation. Definitely a sense of irrational exuberance. You know, it's a problem when Google searches for Bitcoin are the #1 search, exceeding searches for Trump. So is this a Bitcoin bubble?
Well, that's always a great question. Is it a Bitcoin bubble? We've heard from many out there. Jamie Dimon said it, that it's in a bubble and that it may be a fraud or otherwise. It depends on how you look at it. There's a dichotomy. Yes, there are people out there strictly in this game for speculative gain. There's a fear of missing out. They are seeing the price rise exponentially. And then there are groups out there that see this as a shift in the monetary policy. It may be one of the greatest disruption innovations of our time. And they see that Bitcoin's not just a speculative asset, but it also may start to augment or segment components of the fiat monetary policy we have today.
Okay, Chris, I get your point, and let's assume that the cryptocurrency wave at large is real and it's here to stay. But it certainly looks like a lot like the tech bubble that burst in 2000. We have huge valuations and volatility, this time with no regulation at all with those ICOs. Even celebrities are getting in on the initial coin offering action. Paris Hilton, for example, recently promoting an ICO. So you're definitely getting that hype feeling. So just like 99% of the dot-com bubble's IPOs turned out to be worthless, but clearly dot-com was real. Which cryptocurrencies are going to survive? Is Bitcoin, if you will, the MySpace of this era?
I've heard a lot of those different references. I mean, I would say that the parallel nature to the IPOs and the stock market boom of the internet.com bubble, those were diluted a lot. There was a lot of shares. There was much more supply associated. You're talking about more finite assets. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that'll ever be mined. Now, you turn that into the ICO space, and I agree with you. That's a Wild West. So you need to look at coins that have more vetting, know who their board is, understand the utility, not just the supply factors. So what's the utilization of this currency, so to speak? I would say that of the big ones out there, I'm going to put my hat along Bitcoin or Litecoin for 2018. It just soared 50% today. It's up over 4,000% on the year. And where I see the differential between Bitcoin, more of a store of value, gold 2.0, Litecoin is more of the monetary exchange crypto that everybody's looking for. There are 4 times as many Bitcoin or Litecoin than there are Bitcoin that will be in supply. The mining costs are far lower because it's a simplistic, more efficient process of mining. So, for example, people ask, well, am I going to use Bitcoin to buy a cup of coffee someday? Absolutely not. You wouldn't go chisel a bar of gold off for that. But you would use perhaps silver in a barter exchange setting, and that's where Litecoin falls into place here. And there'll be more to come ahead.
All right. So if Litecoin is the way to play cryptocurrencies, how do you go about doing that?
Same way, if you were looking in an IRA setting or with non-qualified funds, there's groups like our company, Bitcoin IRA, that's out there. But the first thing you want to look at is look at the coin itself, and also think about how much risk tolerance you have. These are very speculative assets. The volatility is intense, and if you're going in with the money that you need in 3 months to pay your bills, it's going to be a very stressful time period. So only put at risk what you're considering as far as something that you could go to zero or lose. But for Litecoin, it's the same concept. You're going to want to find a reputable exchange, a company that's using segregated or secure wallets, and determine exactly what you want. There are some groups, Coinbase and ourselves, that offer Litecoin. Some exchanges are limited, but that's a pretty simple process.
All right. We'll definitely have you back, Chris Kline.
Thank you.
Bitcoin IRA COO. Thank you.